thing that got everybody talking, other than the announcement that pay-per-views will be on Max, is that along with this announcement, they announced that AEW All Out is officially moving their time. The start time will be 3 p.m. Eastern time. They will not be going head to head with Wrestlepalooza. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, that went exactly as I expected with the
Yes.
reaction on social media. Some of the takes to this have been fascinating to watch, to say the
Mhm.
least. Um, I don't know. What do you make of this? Because I've seen people say like this makes them look weak and like they wanted competition, now they got it, now they're ducking the smoke or whatever else.
Those people are funny. I think that they bring up a clip after everything was established and they had already been all these behind the scene things that these people don't know about, being like, their competition, he started it and he did not start it, but whatever. I think that AEW needs to do what's best for AEW, and like this is a best for AEW move, is moving away from anything WWE, because we see like their tactics are working. Nobody can deny that. When WWE comes out, Phil, like you said, they make the timeline and the news about them. Everything
Mhm.
is this, like the stories are all surrounding them. So it's hard for AEW to gain any footing with who they have to promote their show. So just getting away from that, I think, is the best idea. I think the main thing was afternoon shows have been working for them, Phil. So I think you
Mhm.
guys should just maybe adapt to them full time. Then we won't have to deal with this, even though WWE is definitely going to start doing afternoon shows if you move to the afternoon. But you just have to figure out whatever tactic you can. Who cares about cop out? Who cares about the you wanted blah blah blah? That's not really how this is gonna. That's not really how this is working at this moment. We know that it's counter programming, and they have to do whatever they can to help themselves.
Yeah, that was a part of this I saw. I think it was the report from Fightful Select where they were saying they were trying to wait. They being AEW, they were trying to wait to see what was the reaction to All In and some of their other afternoon shows to see if they really wanted to make the move. And I think afternoon shows on Saturday is a good idea. I think that
Yeah.
the fan base has responded well to them with international shows, and so I
Mm-hmm.
do think more wrestling will be in the afternoon, both AEW and WWE.
Right.
Um, the takeaway from a lot of this is so it depends on, of course, which side people are on, because some
Mm-hmm.
people that are very pro WWE have taken this and they've like been running around celebrating it.
It's already a
Left,
victory
right.
lap.
Ah, ha, ha, they bullied them off their spot. Um, I just think it was a lose-lose situation for AEW.
Yeah.
Um, they don't really have much announced for this card right now that I would feel confident if I were them putting up against one of the biggest returns of the past decade and Brock Lesnar versus John Cena one last time and whatever else they put on the show. I know at one point the rumor was they were going to put Cody versus Drew McIntyre on here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not sure if that's still going on because Cody, of course, is
Are they doing a
filming
movie?
Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But just based on what they've just announced Christian and Cope versus FTR,
Yep.
which I'm sure that'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But at a time when they just lost like three of their biggest guys, they don't have Swerve, they don't have Osprey. They just made the announcement that Kenny Omega will not be taking a part of all out as well because the angle on Wednesday was to write him off TV.
Right.
And so you don't really have the big marquee matches to put up against them. When I saw Dave talk about it, that was kind of Dave's point that this is still a star-driven business,
Mm-hmm.
and WWE is banking on. All right, we got this big star in AJ Lee coming back. We got a big Brock match. We got CM Punk. We've got John Cena. Um, we don't have.
Debut on ESPN.
We got the big debut on ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't really matter how good All Out is,
No.
because I would make the argument, of course, the AEW has had better pay-per-views consistently this year. It doesn't really
Definitely.
matter what the better show is. Um, WWE is going to get more coverage
Yeah.
than AEW. Like it's
Yes.
just they don't have anything to put up against them that would compete with the kind of coverage they're going to get with their debut on ESPN and the
No.
big matches they put on this card. And
Mm-mm.
That is very much intentional. And that's why I think it's very funny when people are like, ha ha ha, they wanted competition. And it's just like, I just, remember when they were acting like WWE didn't see them as competition and they were basically doing like the Emil hook from the whole record. Competition is not now all of a sudden, this competition is like, well, why y'all running from competition? It's just like,
Yeah.
well, it's different if this was just a coincidence and these shows just happened to go head to head.
Right.
No, they created a pay-per-view specifically to put in this time slot on this day
A
to
whole new
compete with them.
show.
They completely moved forward their move to ESPN and everything.
Yep.
They pushed everything forward
Peacock,
a
like they messed
year.
up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they fast tracked the move to ESPN and everything just to
Mhm.
put in this spot to counter program these guys. And so this is WWE doing what WWE always does, and
Yeah.
I'm not shocked by it. I just don't think it would be smart for AEW
No.
to play into that and then try to go head to head with them. Because I've seen them people also say, well, they've gone head to head with them before. All right, they have. They've gone head to head with NXT. They've gone head to
Yep.
head with Evolution. That's very
Mhm.
different than going head to head
Way
with
different.
AJ Lee's first
AJ
match in
Lee.
10 years. That is a huge difference. And it's like the other match I forgot about there, Mercedes Riho is also on this
Yeah.
card. But again, this isn't like I would feel more confident if this was like the all in card, for example. You've got
Yes.
Kenny versus Okada. You've got some of the
Mhm.
big matches you got on there. This is
Swerve,
your
Ospreay.
biggest, yeah, this is your biggest show of the year. They don't have quite that same marquee show putting up against what WWE is treating like a big marquee show.
Yeah.
I just don't see what is the benefit of going up against them other than giving people the bragging rights to go, ha ha ha, look, they went up against them and everybody's talking about the WWE show. Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. The WWE show is already one of the most talked about things anyway. And once the show is happening, it's going to be the most talked about thing in that weekend just because of all this stuff that's going into it. So why would you even try to put your show on at the same time?
Right. WWE on ESPN. That's just that alone. Like you didn't have to have Brock Lesnar or AJ Lee. They could have put together a regular card and it still was going to get massive coverage because it's the beginning of that. Add in AJ Lee after 10 years and
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, regardless how you feel about it, like this is going to be talked about everywhere. Like
Yeah.
AEW's coverage is going to get buried. And
Exactly.
still being on the same day in earlier time, their coverage is still going to be buried, but they have to do all they can to try to help themselves a little bit, like get the lead in, get fans talking about their shows before the WWE show starts.
Yeah, and in this time where people that do what we do, that review these shows, and people that live stream things, and like
Yep.
you putting these things on at the same time, you're putting people in a position where it's like, all right,
They're going to choose.
I have to choose, and I don't think that's a viewership thing because I think that's what people are making a mistake, and this is what I said before about them counter programming. I don't think it's about viewership because
No.
even if you look at the last time they did this with Saturday Night Main Event, it ended up hurting them in the long run because people that are gonna watch AEW, they're not gonna not watch AEW to watch a Brock match, for example.
Correct.
They that's not what they're going for. I don't think this is gonna affect AEW's viewership in that big of a way. Again,
No.
what this is we want the bigger market share and coverage. We want more people that react to these things. We want more media people covering our show and not theirs. And
Right.
that can eventually affect viewership in the long run because in order for AEW to grow their audience, they need people to cover the shows. And
Exactly.
so that's not I don't feel like this is them trying to put head to head to affect buy rates. I think it's to
No.
affect the coverage of the show.
Exactly, because like Denise and I do a live AEW watch along, and she was talking about doing a double stream. Like that's
Okay?
like AEW can't deal with that. They don't have time to do, because then WWE is just gonna start throwing out the big stuff. People like the timeline's gonna be talking about those things. It's better for them to just get ahead of this and move forward. What did you see that kind of along these lines? So they were talking about this week that Saturday night's main event is why NBC was like, maybe we're good with this.
Yeah, we haven't heard much about the NBC, but also I don't know how much that has to do with like them eventually leaving Peacock. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if those business deals are intermingled or I don't
Mhm.
know. But it is very interesting that Saturday Night Main Event didn't do what they thought it was going to do, putting
Mhm.
Goldberg against All Out.
Mhm.
Ended up kind of being a disaster for them, but this is a totally different scenario.
Do you think because this is the start of the new business model, right? The what if you maybe have to pay $30 more or you have it a part of your thing? Do you think that's going to affect this Wrestlepalooza any?
No, because I feel like this is where everything's going in general. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the announcement that the big boxing match is coming up, the same thing. It's on streaming. They've got like the Canelo Bud match coming up, and that's going to
Yep.
be on Netflix, isn't it?
Yep. That's next week.
Yep. So
Mm.
yeah, I just feel like this is what it's going to be, and I've been saying for a while, WWE is going to start charging more for their pay per views. I knew that was going to
Yeah.
happen. This whole being able to watch all the pay per views for $10 a month, I knew that was not going to last.
And funny enough, what we just talked about with the AEW pay per view, the WWE pay per view is going to end up being cheaper. So
That's the other part. Like with, you just pay your $30 and watch
Mhm.
WrestlePalooza. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I just don't think it would be smart to try to go head to head, especially like with all of the situation. Like all of the
Mhm.
cards are really stacked against AEW in this weekend,
They
and that's
are.
why I'm like, it's a lose-lose situation. It doesn't even matter. Like even with uh the time slot change, I still think WWE is going to be the most talked about show that weekend because
It
of
is.
everything around it. But at least moving it and getting the lead into their pay per view could help. But yeah, it's just they're backed against the wall, and that's why WWE is doing this.
Yes.
And their fan base that acts like they don't understand that is very interesting. I also think that how do I put this? 'Cause I keep seeing people do, oh, but they wanted competition.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference between AEW starting as an upstart company, throwing shots at the biggest company in the world, and the biggest company in the world then turning around and punching down and moving their shows to try to affect their viewership and try to affect their coverage. That is a total difference. And to act like, oh, well, it's okay when they do it. It is a total difference in what WWE is doing. AEW moving their pay per view at one point to go head to head with WWE is not going to have the same effect
No.
on WWE, and these fans know that. Anybody that's saying that these are the two same things, you're being disingenuous. Like
Yeah.
this is not the same thing at all. Them throwing some shots or Cody smashing that throne or like whatever else. That is not harming WWE.
At all.
It's not harming WWE at all.
What you described earlier about them moving mountains, that really put it into perspective. Like this ESPN, they moved up a whole streaming deal like months. Like
Dude,
people don't even, you can't even do that. They were like, let's
dude.
just move this all up to counteract one show.
They created an entirely new pay-per-view as a part of this calendar and specifically put it in this day and time slot.
Yeah.
Like, come
Like what
on.
more could there be? It's an AEW can't do that. That's what I'm saying. Like
No.
WWE's creating new things to do to counteract and counter program. That's just how these things work.
Yeah. No, these are not they're not the same thing. I mean, and competition, of course, is a healthy part of this business. People
Yes.
throwing shots back and forth. That's gonna happen. But what this is and the way they're counter programming AEW. I mean, even if they did this to a company like Impact, no, you know what this is going to do to a smaller promotion. It's going to bury their coverage, man.
And like at all those times, I don't think WWE ever put any of their shows on to counter Impact. They never in their lives were like, we got to do this. That Impact's really on our heels. And like, it's funny because like so much of the talk is about how AEW ain't shit. They should be shut down. They don't make any money. But like the biggest competition in the world is like, this company's on our heels. We got to do everything we can to shut them the fuck down.
Yeah. I mean, to your point about TNA, WWE didn't go out of their way to try to go head to head, but TNA at one point tried to go head to head with WWE. And what did it do to TNA? It ruined them.
It did. It's like the worst thing they could have done was that.